Hello guys, welcome to the video. Today I am going to be talking about the college football playoff and giving my prediction for the national championship winner. So we're going to go through every team who I think is going to win or lose, and we're going to go all the way to the national championship. So we'll start off with the 8th and 9th seed. We got Ohio State and Tennessee in this hypothetical matchup if the college football playoffs start right now. I think it would be a closer game, definitely. It would be in Columbus, Ohio, because, of course, Ohio State has the 8th seed, so it's higher. So they would get it at home. I think, Tennessee's quarterback would definitely be a problem for the Ohio State defense to get, but I do think Ohio State does end up winning in a closer matchup. I'd say 31-24. Give me Ohio State. They'd play Oregon in the next game. Next one, we got number 5 Penn State versus number 12 Arizona State in this hypothetical matchup. I'm going to go with definitely Penn State, and I think they'll win pretty handily against Arizona State. I think Penn State will end up losing to Oregon in the national championship. It's going to be a close game in that, but going to this, if this is the hypothetical matchup, I think Penn State does take care of business against Arizona State, and I think they'd win 34-17. They'd play Boise State next. Going up to the next one, we got number 7 Georgia versus number 10 Indiana. Of course, Indiana losing 15-38 to Ohio State, and then going up against Purdue, trying to show everyone that they need to be in the college football playoffs, but they were going to make it anyway if they just won the game by 1 point. They ended up winning that 66-0. Georgia kind of had an up and down season. Arguably, they had the hardest schedule in the whole entire college football. And Georgia Tech, they played, barely won in like 8 overtimes. They won 44-42. I don't really think it's going to be too close, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer than the Indiana-Ohio State one. Give me Georgia winning 31-16 over Indiana. Georgia would play Texas for a third time because they're playing them in the SEC championship game. Next up, we got Notre Dame, Alabama. I think these two teams faced each other like a few years ago, like in the college football playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. But I think this is going to be a really close game here. You got Notre Dame, 10-game winning streak. They're like 11-1 now. Had that bad loss to Northern Illinois. Alabama, some people were saying they shouldn't have got in, this, that. It should have been South Carolina or Ole Miss, Clemson, Miami, whatever. It's definitely going to be a really close game. I think Alabama just does it. I think Jalen Milroe has a great game, and he carries Alabama to win 30-28 over Notre Dame. I think that game can go either way. Going up next, we have Ohio State and Oregon going up against each other. Rematch. Ohio State 2 losses this season. Of course, one of them to Oregon. They lost by 1 point in Eugene, 32-31. Oregon, of course, at this point, they're undefeated. We'll see what happens in the Big Ten championship game, but hypothetically in this matchup, they'd be undefeated. I think it's a game-winning touchdown in overtime. 34-28 is my prediction. I don't trust Ryan Day as Ohio State's head coach, and I think Oregon just gets it done. Next up, we got Penn State, Boise State in this game. Ooh, I do like Genty a lot at Boise State. I think he should be the Heisman. But, you got to give it to Penn State in this one. I think Penn State wins pretty easily. 2 relatively easy wins. Arizona State, Boise State. I think they beat Boise State. I'd say 38-20 over Boise State. Okay, next we got Georgia, Texas. Georgia, Texas have played each other once this year. Gonna be twice pretty soon. Georgia won 30-15. The score deceives on that because it was a way bigger blowout than that. Quinn Ewers was, or was it Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning? whoever their quarterback was starting, I forget, but they were not good. So I'd say in this one, Georgia, Texas. I think Georgia would pull off because they do have Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart, right now, I think he's the best head coach in college football. You know, I don't trust Quinn Ewers very much at all. I mean, Arch Mannix came in. He's been like the Alex Orgy, like at Michigan, like just coming in some points, but I don't trust Quinn Ewers. I don't trust Carson Beck at Georgia, but I trust that Georgia defense more than I do with that Texas defense. So I got Georgia winning that. Next up, we got Bama, SMU. I mean, come on. It's Bama. Bama's going to win that. I think they'd beat SMU 42-17, I'd say. Not much really to say about that. I don't really have much faith in SMU, really. I think that Clemson will beat SMU, even though in that ACC championship game, even though Clemson hasn't looked very good this year either. Going up next, Oregon, Boise State. Or not Boise State. Oregon, Penn State. Of course, this would be a rematch in the Big Ten championship game, which hasn't started yet, but yeah, it would be at this point if this was the matchup. Oregon, Penn State. I got Oregon beating Penn State again. Yeah, of course, it's hard to beat a team twice. Ohio State, Oregon just beat them for the second time. It's hard to beat a team twice, but Drew Aller as Penn State's quarterback, I don't trust him very much. James Franklin, Penn State's head coach, I don't really know about him doing it. I mean, Penn State, they've always been a great team, but they've never been this elite team to make it to the college football playoff. I can't even remember when they last made it to one. So give me Oregon beating Penn State 35 to, let's say, 28. Next up, we got Georgia against Alabama. Yeah. Of course, that rematch they had earlier in the season, where Alabama beat Georgia 34-41. It was, I believe. Alabama crazy in that first half. They were. Georgia crazy in that second half. Georgia couldn't pull away to try to get that win. But yeah, you got to give it to Georgia because Alabama this season's been very up and down. I mean, they've already got, in this hypothetical matchup, 2 wins. I don't really see them getting a third one against Georgia. I think Georgia would put their way to the college football playoff championship. So give me Georgia beating Bama 34-24. Next up, we'll have the championship. Oregon against Georgia. Who do I got in this one? Of course, the last time these two teams played, either 2022, 2021, I think that was like their first time ever playing each other. Georgia won 49-3. Oregon trying to get their first national championship. They've never got one in their football program history. But I think this is the year. They go undefeated. Dylan Gabriel leads them to a win with a game-winning field goal, beating Georgia 26-24. Oregon wins the national championship. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe.